Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw.
And I'm Sean Liang.
We're back from a mildly self-imposed break to talk about 2 more Kaiju films to close out Kaiju Movie Month. Today we're going to be talking about Godzilla 2014, and then on Thursday we're going to be talking about Godzilla 1999, which I am infinitely more excited about than talking about this film. But before we talk about and tear into Godzilla 2014, Sean, catch anything in our week and a half break?
I feel like the only thing I watched was this show called Elevator, which I love. By the way,
I thought it was a movie on Netflix. It's a show.
It's a show. It's on a game show network. It's from Blumhouse, and it's like the escape rooms essentially. So, but it's like so frustrating because like we've been doing a lot of escape rooms in the past couple of years out here, and we love them. And it's basically just taking a page out of their books and making it a little scarier. But I totally want to win up to $50,000 on the Elevator. So I'm like, I literally, as soon as I saw the show, I went to the game show network and like looked for where we could like submit ourselves to. Right. I'm like, sign me up. I want to do it. That's pretty much it. I've been pretty busy.
So I was traveling over the weekend, which normally means I don't get to watch a whole lot. But this, what did I watch? I watched Jerusalem with a Z. It's on Netflix. It's not a Netflix original. It's just a movie that happens to be on Netflix. It's a horror movie that uses Google Glass as a way of the first-person found footage narrative being told. It's okay. It had like a $160,000 budget, so it's not great. It's not terrible. It's just kind of eh. And then I rewatched New Nightmare as well, which I love that movie. So,
I love that movie too.
Yeah, it's really good. It's better every time I watch it, and especially watching it under the influence is even better.
I'm sure it's like I'm sure
it's like next level. You're just like, whoa.
Oh, I'm having nightmares right now.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, like you said, it's been kind of a busy week and a half. So watching stuff has not been a priority, as it were. So
where's the time go?
No, yeah, it's almost October. We are almost going to be watching just horror movies for a month, which after this movie, I am thoroughly ready for that to be the case.
I know, me too. I gotta say. Oh, man, I agree. I'm ready.
But Let's talk about Godzilla 2014. Came out in 2014, directed by Gareth Edwards, who had previously directed and written Monsters, which is what essentially landed him the Godzilla gig. He is now directing Star Wars Rogue One, which comes out later this year. The IMDb synopsis for the film is, the world is beset by the appearance of monstrous creatures, but one of them may be the one who can save humanity.
I want to talk to somebody in charge. You are not fooling anybody when you say that what happened was a natural disaster. You're lying. It was not an earthquake. It wasn't a typhoon. Because what's really happening is that you're hiding something out there. And it is going to send us back to the Stone Age. God help us all.
In 1954, we awakened something.
Well, there's nuclear tests in the Pacific. Not tests.
They were trying to kill it.
You have no idea what's coming.
Can you kill it?
The arrogance of man is thinking nature is in our control. And not the other way around.
Sean, had you seen this film before, and what are your thoughts?
No, I had not. I avoided this. I mean, I avoided all of the Godzilla films up until this point, and especially the ones in America. And it's exactly what I expected, which was a whole lot of, oh my God, and it scares me that he's directing Rogue One. But
Right? It's legitimately terrifying that the person who made this movie, which is a total turd, is being handed the keys to a Star Wars movie.
exactly, especially because of what George Lucas did to this, you know, with the prequels. And he did exactly what this movie does, and it's just like overwhelming, large CGI shots of like, I mean, it's just too much, you know what I mean? And there's no story. The only thing that matters is like big moving set pieces, you know what I mean? Like
that you can barely see because they're terribly lit, and everything takes place in the dark.
yeah, with no
Everything.
And that's the main thing I had an issue with in this movie is that you just can't see anything.
You can't see anything.
And there's even like a big like moment at the end where you can see it's a big like glorious shot of Godzilla, but it's so dark. It's like I can see it was a choice, but it was clearly the wrong choice. You know what I mean?
Well, and then there's a lot of things that I feel like in this movie are like questionable decisions, like having your top billed actor die in the first 40 minutes.
Oh yeah.
For no reason. I mean, it just, the whole movie to me feels like a massive missed opportunity.
I agree, but it's like it's done in like the small moments. Like it's all like it's misplaced decisions, like you said. Like there's little things like in some of the big action sequences that like drive me crazy. Like there's this one, I think it's when he attacks Honolulu, and there's like this family that is like it's just like it's like in any action sequence they usually pick a group of extras out of the crowd that you kind of focus on just to follow them in this chaos. But like there's a moment when like the wave just like destroys the city of the wave of like of water, and you see like this dog barking, and you know the dog is screwed, but then you see a cut to this dog somehow miraculously running down the street and you can see it like broke the leash, which is bullshit, but whatever. But then you see the same family. It's just like these moments where it highlights the wrong sort of idea. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't about like little like victories. What we know what's going to happen. And the truth is they all get murdered. Like, we know they're dead, but they try to like hide it. It diverts. And those little things like add up to this mushy missed opportunity of what we're really going for here. Like, we should see the dog floating in the ocean that's still leashed to the, chained to the tree, because that is dark and that's what's happening. And that's like what this movie seems to be going for. But then it's
trying to be super serious Godzilla.
Yeah, but then it's like watered down.
Because Batman Begins, because Christopher Nolan,
Exactly.
because of the Warner Brother movies, because of Man of Steel.
Right.
That is what this is going for with Godzilla. And it misses the point of Godzilla, and it misses the idea of Godzilla so astoundingly that I question if Gareth Edwards, obviously he's directing, but I also question if Max Borenstein, who wrote the script for this film, has ever seen a Godzilla film before.
Right. Exactly. And it's also Warner Brothers. There you go again. Like, you wonder how much these people actually had to say in anything. You know what I mean? It's just like this studio really, looking back, it's kind of interesting because they make the same mistakes over and over and over.
No, you're completely right. Warner Brothers loves to make these movies that are all cut from the same cloth. It's this super dark, can't tell what the fuck is going on, super serious, not a hint. There's no hint of fun in this movie.
None.
This movie is devoid of fun. It is not a fun movie. It's not an entertaining movie. And on top of everything else, it's a poorly acted movie.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor-Johnson is as uncharismatic a lead actor as it gets. Next to like Jai Courtney or that guy who looks like Aaron Taylor-Johnson but isn't, Taylor Hirsch. I mean, those three actors are some of the least charismatic actors, like leading men in Hollywood right now. and any time I see them in a movie, I actively avoid it. And people will say, "Oh, well, Aaron Taylor-Johnson was in Kick-Ass, and so, okay, one good movie." And I don't even really I'm not huge on Kick-Ass anyways. I understand why people like it, but I think it's just okay. He's not the best parts of those movies.
I don't even remember him from that movie.
He plays the main character.
Oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I didn't even recognize him. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh my God, yeah.
But he's not the best part of that movie anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't really, Aaron Taylor-Johnson. No, he is about as bland and generic as it gets for a leading.
But it's not even like because he's nothing. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I'm shocked that was him. And I don't know. The fact that I didn't know it was him is a problem, and not in a good, because it's not a good way. It's like, he really is.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Like, he doesn't stand out in any way. There's no there's no strong character in it.
Well, and then you also have another actress who, again, I don't understand the draw of her as an actress, Elizabeth Olsen.
I agree.
Right? It's just, and you have, two actors who, I might not like Breaking Bad, but I can appreciate Bryan Cranston as an actor. But Ken Watanabe and Bryan Cranston are given so little to do in the film.
I agree, and they're like the most interesting people to watch.
Right. I mean, at its core, you could have had a film where, you have Joe Brody played by Bryan Cranston butting heads with Ken Watanabe, who plays Ishiro Serizawa, because they had to nod back to his character in the first movie, who had way more to do and was a way bigger and more important character who had an actual defined arc than in this film, where he's just a Japanese guy who stares into the camera and says things, reacting to what's going on in the CGI in the world. You could have had Serizawa and Brody butting heads throughout the film on what to do about Godzilla and the MUTOs.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that whole conflict is pretty much baked into this film, with at the beginning where Brody's wife, played by Juliette Binoche, dies because of the MUTOs. And then later in the film, you could have had him and Watanabe butting heads about, should they kill the MUTOs? Should they try to capture them to study them? Should they try to kill Godzilla? They could have had that. And Bryan Cranston is out for revenge because his wife dies, and Watanabe is a little bit more, stoic and kind of hands off, and is trying to be very, understanding and trying to be a little bit more pacifist towards Godzilla. But instead you have Bryan Cranston, who's just dies 40 minutes into the movie in what is, a completely strange narrative choice. Ken Watanabe, who does nothing. He literally just stares off screen at CGI and says one or two lines at a time.
Yeah, that's all he does.
He is exposition in character form.
It's so true. But they had to squeeze in the younger stars to give us this ridiculous romance story about, and it's no one cares. The truth is that at the end of the day, this movie then is nothing. We don't care about anybody. And I was telling you before, it really is they cast a whole bunch of background talent. And I mean that because the characters that we're supposed to care about, there's nothing to them. They're so two-dimensional. It's just a series of action sequences, and are they going to survive? And we really don't care if they do or don't, because everyone is kind of surviving, but they don't, you know what I mean? It's there's nothing at stake.
No, and there is nothing at stake in this movie because none of the characters matter. And I think that is, again, if they weren't going to do any of this, this super militaristic slant on the film, where you focus on, Aaron Taylor-Johnson has to somehow be involved with the military because otherwise you couldn't tell the story. I mean, I feel like they could have told this story without anyone having to do anything with the military, and they just be normal people caught up in this event.
Exactly.
Of Godzilla and the MUTOs and all of this. That would have been, I think, ultimately a more interesting story. Mind you, I mean, that's essentially ripping off of Cloverfield, a film that I don't particularly like very much. But I don't like Cloverfield not because of the way it tells its story. I don't like Cloverfield because everything surrounding that movie just made it, it just eroded anything that good that could have come out of that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
If this movie had been Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen as a couple in San Francisco, and Godzilla comes up out of the ocean and just starts destroying the city, and they're trying to escape with their son and survive, I think that would have been an ultimately more exciting movie. And instead we get this movie, which is, I don't know what this movie's trying to do, but it doesn't do any of it very well.
Exactly. Exactly. It's it's just washed out. And,
like I said, when you have Bryan Cranston, who's top billed in this movie, die in the first 45 minutes, what were they going for there?
Yeah,
that's such a strange choice.
It's it wanted to be shocking, but then you just lose. You
lose one third of the movie, and frankly, I mean, I could care less past when he dies, because his character is the only character in the movie who has a semblance of an arc in the film.
Exactly. It's the only one you're interested in what's going to happen to him. You know what I mean?
And that to me is the real, problem with this movie, is that they give you some cool things to look at, and we'll talk about the problems with that here in a second. But for a film that doesn't have almost 2 hour film that doesn't have Godzilla show up until the first hour.
Yeah.
And they give you nothing interesting to look at in that first hour anyways, or nothing exciting, or any characters that they actually build upon to, give you a reason to care about what's going on. I mean, it's an hour long, it's a 2 hour long movie that could have had an entire hour cut out of it.
Yep, I agree.
And it's just this is such a bummer for me, because I know how much people liked this movie. And I feel like this movie is made for people that don't actually like kaiju movies.
I'm actually surprised to hear you say that, because I can't believe it's just not interesting, you know? I don't know.
No, it's not an interesting movie, but it is such a dull, bland movie that people who like movies like Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, this movie is like made for them.
I see what you're saying. I agree because, I mean, definitely there's like moments where you can kind of dumbfoundedly stare at the screen, and I get that. Like, I've done that. I did that with this movie for sure.
It takes the fun out of Godzilla and replaces it with the typical, you know, mopey, dour shit that we have come to expect from the Warner Brothers superhero DC extended universe. That's all it, I mean, that's really all it does.
Right.
It just replaces fun. It replaces campy Godzilla, which apparently can't work in this decade. I agree with that. It doesn't really have a place, but that doesn't mean that the movie has to have zero fun in it.
Right. Well, and I think, yeah, because I think what I mean by dumbfoundedly staring is that it's like they take you on the ride, but it's like there's no consequences. You know, there's nothing that really makes you care one way or another if it's like an attempt to make it fun, I think, or force the fun. It's totally funless because you've got really big action scenes that could be totally cool to look at, there's some cool shots, but like it doesn't matter because there's nothing at stake. I don't really care. There's no context, you know?
Well, and you know, that's the issue with this movie is that because there are no characters in the movie that you care about, therefore I don't care what happens to anyone in this movie.
Yeah.
And therefore all I do is wait, you know, biding my time, focusing on when Godzilla shows up. And then when Godzilla shows up, you can't even tell what's going on anyways because it's so damn dark.
Exactly, yeah.
It's such, like, the whole ending sequence of this film is so poorly lit that I could not tell what was going on half the time. And this is a big budget Hollywood film. It had a budget of $160 million. There's nothing stopping them from actually, you know,
showing us
what's going on.
Exactly.
I mean, let me put it this way. Bryan Cranston wasn't paid $90 million to do this movie.
Right.
Most of the budget of this movie went to there are no practical effects in this film. Yeah. What am I thinking? Most of the budget of this film went to the Godzilla CGI and the MUTO CGI. And they couldn't even show it. They could not even show it in broad daylight for more than like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a point in this movie where they fight in broad daylight?
No, it's always at night.
No, there's not. And that right there is a huge fucking problem. You have a film like All Monsters Attack, which is a terrible movie. I mean, it is a bad movie. It's got baby Godzilla in it.
That's right.
But at least they fight in broad daylight, and they were doing men in suits at that point. Like, this movie came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
There's not an excuse here. Can you imagine like watching the newest Star Wars film and all of it taking place in the dark?
No way.
Like what? What is like? I don't understand the choices in this film.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like there's no reason. It's like they hid on purpose too, because there's no reason like that we shouldn't have light to see. Like there's fires going on everywhere. And you know what I mean? Like you also don't see his iconic fire beam until the very end.
Again, because I'm convinced that this movie is made for people that don't know anything about Godzilla.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know anything about Godzilla, you know that Godzilla has that atomic breath.
Right.
You know that. That's like a Godzilla thing. Like that's been with Godzilla forever. And I mean, you know, showing it in the last 2 minutes of the movie, oh shit, that's so crazy.
Right, like but we know.
But you knew that was coming.
Right, like that actually could have happened in the very first scene.
Right. Well, and you know, like I said, the whole problem with this movie is it's a 2-hour movie that does not justify a 2-hour length.
Exactly. Biggest problem in the whole movie.
And now they're trying to make this Godzilla, King Kong shared cinematic universe, like, oh dear God. So you're telling me that hopefully, I hope to God, Aaron Taylor-Johnson does not come back for the next film.
I don't see why he would need to.
I don't know why he needed to be in this film, but that's a different story for a different time.
Yeah, for real.
But Godzilla 2 comes out in 3 years. And then Godzilla vs. Kong comes out in 2020. And Godzilla or King Kong, Kong Skull Island or whatever named the new movie. I believe it's Kong Skull Island. This is this new Godzilla cinematic universe, whatever you want to call it. This is not for me a good film to start that off with.
Yeah, right? No way. No.
I don't understand. And there are a lot of things in this movie that really bugged me. Let's talk about one of the things that bugs me the most. The character design of Godzilla and the MUTOs, which the name alone just every time they said it on screen, I rolled my eyes.
I know.
Right? But I mean, Godzilla, I think my best description of Godzilla looks like a pit bull standing up.
Yeah. They're like really meaty. Like they both kind of look similar with their bodies. It's like they took the same body base and kind of, because did you see at the end when like the MUTOs run at Godzilla? They have kind of like a similar body.
Right. Well, and I mean, the MUTOs alone, I think, if we're talking like terrible character design, the MUTOs take the cake for the absolute least creative character design I've seen in like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
They're so boring to look at, aren't they?
Yeah, especially because it's like they reminded me of like a praying mantis, which even then their faces look like typical alien. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just so basic.
They look like terrible versions of the Cloverfield monster.
Yeah. Like a cheap version, like the off-brand version of.
Yeah, they really just look like this movie essentially boils down to what if Godzilla fought the Cloverfield monster.
Yeah, it's so true.
But even the Cloverfield monster looked more interesting than the MUTOs do. They look like giant black praying mantises.
Yeah,
and they eat nuclear warheads because they're drawn to radiation. Okay. Right? I mean, okay, sure. I guess if we're concocting the rules of this universe, you can just make shit up. So, and it's implied that Godzilla hunts them, but it's never said why.
Yeah, because at the end, it just ends abruptly once they're dead.
Right. I don't know. Like I said, the design of the creatures is just so. It's not like they really tried.
No.
They really just were like, man, let's put in like the least amount of effort to design these creatures.
Yeah, they're like, well, they're just big and, big. They break.
Right, that's totally it. Like, well, we need this big monster. We need Godzilla to fight some big monster that isn't...
Godzilla.
Well, that isn't like an exciting one, like Mothra or Gamera or King Ghidorah or Mechagodzilla. There is, nothing that they could have done to make this movie interesting if they didn't pick a character that would have been like they could have made this movie awesome if Godzilla had fought like Mothra or King Ghidorah.
Yeah. But
instead it had to be grounded in reality. So, it has to be kind of like a Starship Troopers bug with bigger legs.
Yeah, that was just buried in the earth.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a missed opportunity. And it's so blasé with the way they do it.
Yeah, but it's kind of, I mean, like you said before, though, it's a little bit insulting because it's definitely made for an audience that doesn't care about the detail. You know what I mean? It's like definitely meant for like I don't mean a dumb audience, but for a dumb mind. You know what I mean? Like for a dull. You know what I mean? It doesn't take a lot. Sounds so negative. I'm trying to say
but you're completely right. And when you look at it and when I walk away from this film, my big takeaway is people who were in charge of making this movie think that they can co-opt Godzilla to make him somehow an American thing. Godzilla will never be American.
Right. It just isn't.
Godzilla is not an American thing. Period.
Right.
At all. Godzilla is not American. You cannot force people to accept it as an American thing.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like that's the whole purpose.
It's like soccer. People in the United States hate soccer for some reason.
Right.
There's like there are people that love soccer, but most people in the States either hate it and think it's dumb or just don't care. Godzilla is like soccer.
It's true.
There are people that love Godzilla in the States, but they love Godzilla, the Japanese Godzilla, the Toho films.
Yeah.
This movie isn't made for them. This movie is made for people that don't give a shit about watching original kaiju films.
Exactly. They're like, this is a chance for them to say they would know Godzilla, but it's totally not true.
I guarantee you, if you sat someone down who liked this movie and had them watch the original 54 Godzilla, they would tell you, they would be like, when is this going to be done?
Oh, yeah.
This is so boring.
When is this going to be done?
I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but let's just be honest here.
No, that's absolutely legit. I agree. I can imagine the exact same thing.
And, Gareth Edwards, one of the things that he said about this movie was that, they wanted to treat Godzilla like Jaws, the shark in Jaws, where there's like this huge buildup to him showing up.
That is crap, because the only thing they did is showed his fins poking out of the water. That's the only thing that happened that was like Jaws.
I know that Gareth Edwards wanted to make a film that mattered, but saying I want to treat Godzilla like Jaws works because Jaws lives in the water.
Right, Jaws is a real threat.
Yeah, Jaws is a threat for people on water.
I literally watched Jaws last night. That's
right?
Funny. That's really ironic. But yeah.
Jaws is a shark that swims underwater. There is nothing about Godzilla that is remotely similar to Jaws, except for Godzilla moves underwater because he can't fly.
Exactly. Like the whole heart of Jaws is impossible to put into something like Godzilla. You can't make us fear the water the same way with Godzilla. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, being like, well, we're going to make it so Godzilla is like Jaws and we keep the reveal for an hour. Like, oh, why?
Yeah, that's not because...
People pay to see Godzilla. The damn movie is titled Godzilla.
Right.
I want to see... If I'm going to see a Godzilla film, I expect to see Godzilla, not an hour into the film.
Right.
I didn't come to watch the movie to see Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Bryan Cranston run around and try to just, suss out military conspiracies.
Yeah, exactly.
I came to see a Godzilla film.
We want to see Godzilla. We want to see Godzilla destroy cities, and we want to know what that does. Like you said, there was the story baked into it from the beginning, but they chose to be interested in something else.
Yeah, no, and there's so much stuff that I walk away from this film wondering about. Like we mentioned, why doesn't Godzilla breathe the atomic breath until the last 5 minutes of the movie? Why did Gareth Edwards decide to not have those end scenes shot in the daytime as opposed to at night?
Yeah, or why can't he splash a little bit of fire, at least so we can see it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you can't tell what's going on.
Yeah, nothing.
Why... The whole thing with the nuke going off, that felt like they were trying to force tension on the film, because at the end of the film, so Aaron Taylor-Johnson, he's a bomb ordnance disposal specialist because plot convenience.
Right, of course.
And at the end of the film, they use a nuke to lure the MUTOs, who eat radiation, to San Francisco Bay, and Godzilla will follow them so that they can fight. And that's where that "let them fight" gif comes from that has been overused since the film came out 2 years ago. And so they end up fighting. They end up destroying like half of San Francisco. But in the end, the nuke still goes off in San Francisco Bay.
Yep.
I shouldn't have to say anything past that because that's silly as shit, right?
The nuke goes off.
The nuke goes off in San Francisco Bay. It's like 5 miles, probably not even, from the coastline.
Yeah, no.
But there are no repercussions.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can taste the radiation from my apartment, and I'm in LA.
Right? There's no repercussions. There's the next day, Godzilla is asleep on the beach under a building, is what it looks like. Obviously, Godzilla passed out from exertion due to fighting the MUTOs. But there's nothing there. There's no one talking about a nuke going off. It's just, oh, well, Godzilla, king of the monsters, savior of the city, ?
Well, he made eye contact with that soldier we at least at one point, remember? Or with Ford.
Right.
They make eye contact, and then we know, He's on our side.
Dan Wickwire, who we've had on a couple times this month, he's a huge fan of kaiju movies. And he talked about how Gamera and Godzilla being the defender of children is a mistake for the characters. And I really feel like Godzilla automatically defending humanity is a huge mistake.
It's completely counterintuitive to why Godzilla was created in the first place.
Right?
Like, it doesn't make any... It totally bastardizes Godzilla.
I don't understand. What's the point?
Right. Because, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it's amazing how you...
In the other films, they built up to Godzilla being the defender of Earth. In this film, he's automatically the defender of Earth.
Right.
Even though we tried to kill him. Like, that's the big reveal in this movie, is that Godzilla was lured to Bikini Atoll in the beginning of the film. Maybe not Bikini Atoll, but an island in the Pacific.
Right.
To blow him up with a nuke.
Right. With the nuke.
And, you know,
but even the original,
why is he helping?
Right. And the thing is, but the original concept of Godzilla was that it kind of was born out of violence and like warfare. So it's like, how can you kind of change that idea? I don't know.
No, they completely took, and you know, maybe this is, you know, one of our other guests, Mike, he mentioned that Godzilla kind of changes for the times and how he's kind of interpreted by the culture that is of the present. I'm not sure what that has to do with the way Godzilla is being portrayed in this film.
Yeah, Godzilla really isn't portrayed at all in this film.
You could have had Godzilla be kind of an allegory for terrorism or
absolutely,
you know, or global warming. Like Godzilla was frozen in an ice cap and it melted, and you know, the humans are destroying the Earth, and Godzilla wants to destroy humanity because they're destroying Earth. Like, you could have done anything like that if you're really pushing the angle of trying to find a way to make this Godzilla film just like the old one, where there's an underlying message. In this film, it's just, oh, look, monsters are blowing shit up.
Exactly, and that's the problem I have with Warner Brothers, and like their movies tend to focus on that spectacle instead of the heart of it and what it really could be.
Yeah, it's about, oh, let's just watch monsters kill each other.
Right.
It's not about, none of this was about telling a story. None of this movie was about telling a story.
Right.
This movie was to show Godzilla and the MUTOs fight one another. Unfortunately, even if you remove everything else from this film, you know, take away Aaron Taylor-Johnson, take away Ken Watanabe, Bryan Cranston, Elizabeth Olsen, the movie still is a failure because it doesn't give you enough of Godzilla fighting the MUTOs.
Right.
It's one scene.
Which is why I'm so surprised that people were happy with this movie, even from a basic standpoint of, you know what I mean? Like, because even the entertaining scenes that are, it's just hard to see it. It's just difficult to get any entertainment out of it. You know what I mean? Because it's so hard. So I'm surprised that even from that aspect that there's anyone that liked this. I don't know.
But again, I think what it really comes back to is people who don't care about Godzilla films liked this movie because they have no frame of reference to compare it to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I guess. But I still, as a simple-minded moviegoer, would be bored with this movie because of just the way it looks. You know what I mean?
But I think it kind of checks off all the boxes for people that really are not looking for much when it comes to a film.
I guess so. Man, I guess it's just, that's disappointing.
Right? I mean, that's, as far as I'm concerned, I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, that's generally what Warner Brothers does.
So, you know, and there were some interesting kind of conditions that were set down by Toho initially with licensing Godzilla to Legendary Pictures. Godzilla needed to be born of a nuclear incident, and the film needs to be set in Japan, and the film didn't do either one of those very well.
Yeah.
Yet Toho still said, well, you know, it's a good film, so
it made money.
It made a lot of money. It made more money than Godzilla in 1998 did, I'm sure.
Yeah, almost $400 million.
Which I want to mention something about Godzilla in 1998 because we're going to be talking about it on Thursday. I know Godzilla in 1998 gets a really bad rap, but Godzilla in 1998 is at least a fun movie. It's a bad movie.
Well, that's good to hear at least.
Have you never seen it?
No, never. I've never seen any of them.
So Godzilla 1998 has like Matthew Broderick in it.
Oh.
And it takes place in the States, in New York. And, you know, I think the Godzilla design is derided a lot. And I do agree that the Godzilla design in that film is a little goofy.
Yeah.
But it's at least a fun movie. It's a stupid movie, but it's fun. This movie is just dour and boring. It takes itself so seriously that at the end of the day, it loses any fun that might be there from a Godzilla movie.
I agree.
It's Godzilla by way of Batman Begins.
Yeah.
It's Godzilla by way of Christopher Nolan and the dark, gritty, dour, fun, devoid films that we've been getting since Batman Begins came out in like 2006.
Yep.
So, well, Sean, my man.
Yes.
Skip it or watch it. Best performance.
This is skip it. You know what I mean? Best performance. Bryan Cranston, and he dies so early. And after that, there's really nothing to care about except for a few basic action sequences that are visually fun to look at sometimes. But even then, sometimes you can't see it at all. So I also really liked the bus driver that saved the kids on that bridge. So shout out to him. Because they probably died right afterwards anyway.
Yeah, right. For me, it's a total skip. It's a really boring movie with very little to nothing of redeeming value. It's surprising how little this movie does.
Yeah, in 2 hours too.
Yeah. It's a long movie and it does nothing. And it was really well regarded, which is astounding.
Yeah.
And I've already taken flack from people on Facebook for posting this movie is a boring movie.
What?
How dare you?
You don't
Okay.
You're not satisfied by an overwhelming just visually overwhelming crap. There's something wrong with you, I guess.
I mean, what this really boils down to is, think about a film like Godzilla 1954, right?
Yeah.
That film is 96 minutes.
Right.
So it's half an hour shorter than this film. It makes use of every single minute of that 96 minutes.
Yeah, and it's all interesting.
Right. This film is 2 hours long, and it makes use of none of it. It makes use of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The rest is slow, plodding, uninspired, and uninteresting military horseshit.
Absolutely. That's the whole first hour of this movie.
Yeah. And, if you took Godzilla out of this movie could have been any disaster film.
Anything. Yeah, I agree.
It didn't even, this movie didn't even have to be Godzilla, right?
No, it's any natural disaster. It really is. I agree.
Or monster disaster.
Right.
If they had taken Godzilla out of this movie, it could have just been MUTOs. And it could have been, we screwed up by environmental poisoning. We poisoned the earth and the MUTOs. It happened, and we have to kill the MUTOs.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. You could literally, it's about anything, but...
No, there's nothing Godzilla about this movie other than Godzilla is in it and Serizawa, which is a nod to the characters.
Right, exactly.
But there's nothing uniquely Godzilla about this movie.
No.
And again, this movie should have been set in Japan.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing.
You know what? Here. I'm going to pitch this movie to you. Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen, for sake of argument, are on vacation visiting Aaron Taylor-Johnson's dad, Bryan Cranston, in Japan. While they're in Japan, Godzilla shows up for the first time since he was created in the 50s.
Love it.
Shows up and he starts just destroying Japan. And they have to try to get back from Japan to the United States. And that's the whole movie.
That is perfect. That's
So you knock out nuclear Godzilla, you knock out Japan in the same swing, and you actually have some characters that would be maybe doing something interesting.
Exactly, that you can really care about. I don't care about a soldier getting back. Honestly, that's done. That's been done. Let's see a family absolutely get displaced in a foreign country. That's already relatable, and I already feel for them as an American. You know what I mean? That's a great way to do an American movie about a Japanese culture movie. You know what I mean? That's what this movie is. Godzilla is Japanese culture, so that's a great.
It doesn't need to be in Honolulu,
right,
or San Francisco, and none of it needs to take place in Nevada.
I love that. See, that's right there.
And that right there also sets the stage for Godzilla, who is a Japanese icon, fighting King Kong, who is a American icon.
Absolutely.
In 4 years. And mind you, the way they've set it up now, you essentially have Godzilla, who they're trying to co-opt as an American icon, fighting King Kong, who is an American icon.
Right.
He's a homegrown American monster icon.
Right.
So who do we root for?
Exactly.
Well, it's not going to matter because neither one of them are going to die. So because those versus movies are always complete duds. So,
yeah.
But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's how you make a Godzilla movie that's interesting.
I totally agree.
A new Godzilla made for American audience.
Exactly. That's a great way to I agree. To keep it as authentic Godzilla as possible and keep it a Godzilla movie in the first place.
Yeah.
And then introduce that to I agree. I'm already more interested in that than this movie.
Because that is an inherently more interesting
idea. Exactly.
Yeah. And I kind of went off on a tangent. Best performance, Ken Watanabe, but that's just because I don't know. He's Ken Watanabe. I mean, I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff recently, so he was in Last Samurai.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess he played a character in Transformers the same year as he did Godzilla. So that's
what it'll be. It'll be Godzilla, King Kong versus the Transformers.
Oh God, shut up. Shut up. That sounds awful. That sounds like next level garbage.
Oh, it'll be like, what is it? The Titans? What is it? You know what I'm talking about? That new like anime, that movie that's
Attack on Godzilla, King Kong, and the Transformers versus Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Actually, I got one better. Godzilla, King Kong versus Pacific Rim. Because you really want to hate yourself with 3 movies that are completely boring.
You really want to hate yourself. That's exactly it. Yeah. It's the Holy Trinity.
So, what do you think the film has on Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, honestly, I'm really stumped because after hearing you say that people liked this movie, I don't know. I want to say like 20%, but I'll say I'm going to guess 63%.
74% certified fresh.
Wow, it's certified fresh.
With just enough human drama to anchor the sweeping spectacle of giant monsters smashing everything in sight, Gareth Edwards' Godzilla satisfyingly restores the franchise's fire-breathing glory.
I disagree with that.
With just enough human drama, which takes up an entire hour of a 2-hour film.
Exactly. The first hour, so good luck.
With just enough, huh? You mean more than anyone asked for in a goddamn Godzilla film?
Exactly.
But the problem is it would have been fine if it had been interesting.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. I also want to point out something that's a little strange about the Godzilla kind of poster. It seems to show Godzilla is bigger than buildings.
Yeah. Like, much bigger.
And Godzilla is like towering over these buildings. Godzilla in these movies is astoundingly small.
Yeah, and it's like smaller than the cities almost. You know what I mean? Like,
he's tiny. I mean, at one point he gets smashed by a building.
Right.
Like a building falls down on him.
I guess we've really moved on up since then.
Right? I've always believed that Godzilla is this giant towering beast. And in this movie, he is a midget. He is a tiny little Godzilla who like runs around.
He's a tiny giant, yeah.
Yeah.
He does run around too.
Yeah. And he breathes fire twice.
That's right.
With no reason given as to why he can do it.
Right. Just because he can.
Yeah, because. Just reasons, obviously. Reasons. So, before I talk about this Thursday's Kulturecast, Sean, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, if you're in LA this weekend, I'm doing a show in a complex theater down in Hollywood. So it's called it's actually called Twibbles. It's a one-act festival. But other than that, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Shonifer, and on Facebook, I'm Sean Liang.
You can follow me on Twitter at CultureStash and check out CultureShock.com. Movie reviews, video game reviews, and all the podcasts one person could ever want to listen to. Big thanks, as always, to Wavoka for the intro-outro music for the Kulturecast. That song you're hearing is Lament off of their self-titled first album, and you can check them out over at wavoka.bandcamp.com. Patreon.com/culture_shocked is where you can help us out, kick a couple dollars our way. It's not free or cheap to keep the lights on over here, so any little bit helps. This Thursday, we are going to be talking about a good Godzilla film. Well, let me rephrase this. We're going to be talking about a Godzilla film that at least is fun.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody hates it, and that's fine. But I enjoy it for kind of the middle-of-the-road, serious, campy fun that it is. And that is Godzilla 1998. So make sure to check that one out.